while other kids complained about the latest iPad being the wrong color and it's not pink but it's green, and now it's a newer iPad coming out and it's better. Walid didn't pay any attention to this nonsense. He just focused on what's real, and what was real is his situation here at school. He did the best with what he had, and he had one chance at things in that school, and he took it and ran with it.
He loves to ask questions, and I felt horrible in the sophomore year because the end of sophomore year they get to do an independent project on anything that we can do in the lab. And Walid had great ideas, none of which could be done in our lab. So he kept going, what about this? Great idea. We don't have this, that, and the other thing for it. So I felt horrible because he has such a passion for science, and so many of these great questions that he wanted to pursue, we just couldn't pursue in our lab.
I had no idea what he had gone through in his life, and he never knew about me either to that level. We had always known each other in school and respected each other because we were both smart. But it really got me to know him at a level that I never thought I would be able to, and I'm so happy I got to know him like that.
My father has a genetic blood disorder called beta thalassemia. And thalassemia comes in many forms. There's minor form, there's an intermediate form, and there's the major form. Now, having the minor form, it's bad, but it's not as bad as having the major form. The major form usually leads to death at a very early age, usually within the teens, and if not, early adulthood. My dad, however, lives still today in his 50s. So he lives as a medical miracle.
He has a very personal connection to some of the questions he asks thanks to his father, and the beta thalassemia that his dad has, which theoretically should have killed him about 20 years ago, but he's still around. And for Walid, that's a fascinating thing. And going with his dad to the doctors, to the hematologist, asking questions, I think that's one of the things that got him into science.
I was aware of his father's disease, beta thalassemia, when we had anatomy physiology and we were doing the hematology unit. He talked to me quite a bit about that, and he was quite interested in learning the various intricacies of the human cardiovascular system. And when we did come across a single sentence in our textbooks which mentioned thalassemia, he just went off for a good 20 minutes about his father's condition and about himself.
He always spoke highly of his father. My father was this omnipresent spirit, he always talked about him and his inspiration. So he said he was sick. However, he never really mentioned the financial problems during that time. The fact that he really didn't have a stable home throughout my class, you wouldn't know this. He was such a professional that he took care of everything. His classwork, his assignments.
Questbridge is a scholarship program for students from low-income families, and the point of the program is to help students who can't afford the tuition of these really elite colleges but have the achievements that could get them in and gain admission.
I made it a goal to myself that I would eventually work towards getting the scholarship. The process was very difficult, but I couldn't let 4 years of hard work go to waste. After I finished all my applications, the waiting game began. I had to wait 29 days until I found out my results. And within those 29 days, a lot of thoughts rushed through my head. This was an opportunity that would help me achieve the long-term dream I've always carried. Going to a top research university without having to worry about money. At the same time, being able to perform research on my father's disorder. That was a real goal. And within those 29 days, every day I thought about that. I wondered if all those dreams would come true. I wondered if Allah would give me the ability to make it all a reality. So eventually the time came. Someone on Facebook posted that the results had come out, and I decided to go on. And it was that moment when I clicked view update that a huge adrenaline rush just came into me. And at that moment, 4 years would be either realized, or 4 years would perhaps have to find another route to success to another route to realization. And I clicked on it, and the first word I saw was congratulations. At that moment I knew I had gotten somewhere, but I kept on reading, and it's my first choice, which was Columbia University. And I was ecstatic. I started jumping. I didn't know who to tell first. I had to tell someone. So I wanted to keep it a surprise for my mother. I wanted her to know later, because this was also something that she hoped I would get. She prayed every night for me just for this. So I called up my father, and I told him not to tell my mother. And when my mom came home, I told her, and we all just cried and hugged each other.
He's going to take advantage of it. Some people get in because they like the name, but they won't necessarily take advantage of every opportunity that's there. Walid loves to search out opportunity and take hold of it, and anything that he can do, he'll find it and he'll make it work.
Even though I was extremely happy, I knew in the back of my head that my journey, my long-term plan, has not still been achieved. I had to figure out my father's condition. There is still this mystery that I had to solve. If I have lived life up to this point waiting for something great to happen, doing my best, why should I stop now? If I could wait 18 years for such a big dream, why can't I wait perhaps another 20 years? And I believe that Allah will take me to even greater places. And if I keep constant faith in Him, I can achieve new heights. I can achieve new standards for myself.